Hello, I'm Kristie Kennedy. Welcome to Let's Talk About That, the show where each week a Lyra mental health coach like myself answers your top questions on mental health and well-being. This week, let's talk about how to recover from burnout. I personally believe the best part of life is living. But oftentimes, our workloads are so heavy, we don't even have time to breathe, let alone enjoy a soothing cup of tea with a close friend. Can you imagine how different your life could be if you opened up space to refuel, to recharge, and to rejuvenate off the clock? Think about what your life would look like if you were more energized, excited, and enthusiastic about your personal and professional commitments rather than being disengaged and feeling lethargic. I believe it's 1000% possible to recover from burnout, and today I'm going to show you how. First, we need to identify what are the common signs of burnout. If it were to knock at your front door, would you recognize it? Ask yourself, does any of this sound familiar? I dread getting up in the morning. I'm constantly hitting the snooze button, and especially Monday mornings. I'm feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, battling mental fatigue, feeling as if there is not enough time in the day to complete my long to-do list. What about emotionally distancing yourself from family, friends, and peers? Another common sign of burnout is knowing that the job you once used to enjoy, you no longer find it exciting. Now that we've identified some of the common signs of burnout, let's look at the causes of burnout. They are often contributed by factors outside of our control, such as the workload, unrealistic deadlines, feeling as if we're not seen, recognized, or rewarded for the amount of effort that we're contributing in our workspace. Burnout can also be the result of too much energy output and not enough energy input. Burnout is often created when there is a lack of clarity in roles expectations. Warren Buffett advised, say no to 99 requests and yes to one. This is how we can begin to alleviate the overwhelm that we're experiencing from extended hours, especially nights and weekends. I've coached individuals who work 70 to 80 plus hours and don't feel as if they can take a 10-minute break because they fear getting behind on their workload. I love to give the analogy of the vehicles. We know that our cars have the gas light that often comes on when we're about empty. We only have so many more miles to ride before we break down on the side of the road. If you were to receive a wellness grade based on how you are caring for yourself, what would you receive? An E or an F? We get to choose if we're going to live empty or if we're going to live full lives. May I extend an invitation to pivot in your perspective. Let's look at a few self-care recovery strategies to combat burnout. At Lyra, we teach the principle of mindful awareness, which means that we are fully present on purpose in the moment, not living passively on autopilot and not judging. When we operate from a place of mindfulness, we get to experience our lives to the fullest. We get to notice what we haven't noticed before. Because remember, burnout is not always based on factors that we have control of. Sometimes you're ill-equipped for the position, the current job you're working in. So how can we recharge? Let's start with mental self-care. We can strengthen our minds by doing jigsaw puzzles, Jenga, Rubik's Cube. How about adult coloring books? Just to relax our mind. because we're often putting out fires every single day. And the more responsibilities you have, the more critical it is for you to re-energize yourself so you can operate at optimal levels. We can also strengthen our mind by writing our thoughts down, decompressing from the day. Let's move into social self-care. Have you ever had a conversation with a close friend and forgot all about the cares of your life? They fill you up from the inside out. You could join a book club or a social club that piques your special interest. Also, with social wellness, I want you to think about a time and a place where you had the most fun, and do that. Go outside and enjoy the people at the park. It's food for thought. Emotional self-care. I absolutely love the practice of gratitude. It's hard to be resentful and grateful at the same time. Oprah Winfrey said, the more you celebrate, the more you have to celebrate. How many ways can you express appreciation for what's happening in your life? Remember, we get to pivot in our perspective. Think about the rose. You can either complain that the rose has thorns, or you can celebrate the thorns having roses. It's all a matter of where you're directing your focus. Physical self-care. Your physical body is the vehicle that's taking you here and there and everywhere. We want to keep it strong because most of us do live sedentary lives. We sit behind desks for long periods of time. And with our physical wellness, we can stretch our bodies throughout the day. You can take small, brisk walks, 10 minutes at a time. Research shows a 10-minute walk can boost your mood up to 2 hours. Imagine what a 30-minute or 45-minute workout could do for you. The possibilities are endless. Relaxation. Relaxation can be a key to rejuvenation. Sometimes you just need to rest, not do anything. Enjoy the silence. Deplug from social media. Turn your ringer off. Heat can be restorative. I personally use heat pads on my shoulders and the back. It helps to calm you down, your physical body. There's so many ways to rejuvenate physically, and those are just a few ideas to get you started. Lastly, I want us to look at our wellness space. How can you design your workspace with wellness in mind? You can surround yourself with inspirational images, your family and friends to remind you of what matters most. They can keep you inspired in the moment. Waterfalls for your auditory senses being stimulated. Candles for aromatherapy to create a serene and calming environment. I would love to share with you one of my self-care success stories. A young lady came to me. She was on the brink of burnout, extremely anxious about her work once she started serving from home. And one of the most challenging aspects of this anxiety, it was showing up in her physical body. Because of the panic and the fear of rejection as a sales professional, she began to start vomiting. And so what we began to do was create a morning routine. We called it Power Hour, her first hour of the day. Put on motivational, empowering music. 2, get physically active. Start moving your body. And 3, begin to speak new thoughts that would empower you to be the most confident version of yourself. And she began to practice daily. Because it's not what we do once in a while, but it's what we do repetitively to disrupt those old thought patterns. This young lady was determined to change. So she began to meet her sales quota. She went from 85 calls a week to 120. She lost 20 pounds. She started riding her bicycle 9 miles at a time. It was absolutely phenomenal. And she began to look in the mirror and tell her body how it was going to respond. She no longer dreaded Mondays. She began to enjoy every day, because before she would wait to the weekends until she had a good time. That's the power of doing something radically different to change your life. Jim Rohn said, when I change, everything changes. The change may not occur immediately, but it will occur eventually. One of my favorite quotes by Rolls Royce, he said, take the best that exists and make it better. That's what we do here at Lyra, help you to become better, one choice at a time. So how can we put this into practice in your life? I want you to identify your top 5 stressors. And then after you write your top 5 stressors, I want you to write 5 positive alternative behaviors that you can begin practicing today, not tomorrow, today. This is how we're going to create your personal transformation. L.R. Noss said, self-care doesn't mean me first, it means me too. You deserve the time and attention that your inner person is craving. I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Who you are today is not who you will be tomorrow. And can you imagine how much more energy, how much more exciting life will be when you decide to do something different? And this is how we can overcome burnout and recover from it. I want to say thank you for watching. Do you have a mental health related question that you'd like for us to cover next? Please let us know in the comment box below.